Hi and welcome. Today we're going to talk about the American premium tank that you've been asking me to review more than any other. We'll go over its basic characteristics, take a look at its strengths and weaknesses, and I'll share my personal thoughts on how it performs in battle. By the way, this vehicle is completely identical to the new premium version, so everything I say in this video applies to both of them. Alright, let's start as usual with the tank's mobility and overall driving performance. The tank's top speed going forward is 68 kilometers per hour. That's not exactly a record-breaking number, and some of your opponents can move even faster. For example, the Soviet premium T-80 reaches 70 kilometers per hour, and the Japanese one goes up to 73. However, in practice, this speed is more than enough to reach key positions on time, and unlike British or Israeli tanks, we don't have to worry about getting caught by sneaky crossfire along the way. The reverse speed of this tank is 38 kilometers per hour, which is an excellent result. Thanks to this great reverse performance, we can easily pull back whenever we're in danger, and maneuvering in tight areas becomes effortless. Overall, the mobility of this tank is outstanding. I've never found myself in a situation where its speed let me down. The turret rotation speed with a stock crew is 28 degrees per second horizontally and 17 degrees per second vertically. Once you upgrade your crew to expert, these values go up to 38 degrees horizontally and 22 vertically, and with an ace crew, you'll get 40 degrees horizontally and 24 vertically. For context, the best possible rotation speed for a main battle tank is around 40 degrees per second in both directions. 24 degrees vertically is more than enough for comfortable gameplay, so overall the gun handling can confidently be called solid. The gun depression angle is 10 degrees, which is an excellent value. Among main battle tanks, only the Japanese ones can really compete with that, and even then, only when they tilt their hull forward using their suspension system. Thanks to this great gun depression, we can comfortably play from almost any popular position in the game without running into any issues. The tank is armed with a 120mm gun. Our primary round has 629mm of penetration. In practice, that makes it the best round available across the entire U.S. ground vehicle tech tree. As a secondary option, we have a high-explosive fragmentation shell, which is useful not only against lightly armored targets, but also against enemy aircraft. That shell detonates automatically when it comes within 10 meters of an aircraft. Hitting fast-moving planes with it is difficult, but it's extremely effective against helicopters, so I recommend carrying several of these shells into battle. This tank has an excellent reload rate of 6.5 seconds with a stock crew. Once you get expert crew skills, reload drops to 5.3 seconds. With an ace crew, it falls to 5.0 seconds. That's a very strong stat because most of our opponents reload slower. For example, many Soviet vehicles have a 6.5-second reload, and the Leopards sit around 6 seconds. In duels, that means we'll be reloading faster than the majority of our main opponents. There are a few minor things that probably won't decide whether you buy this tank, but I should mention them. The tank is fitted with a 12.7mm machine gun, which is handy for clearing small obstacles like fences, barriers, and other debris that can slow you down. It can also damage an enemy's track, and in rare cases that can literally save your vehicle. So while it's not a game changer, the machine gun is a useful little tool to have in matches. When it comes to optics, this tank has a very comfortable zoom. Switching to sniper mode gives you a perfect panoramic view, and the maximum zoom is enough to hit targets accurately even on the larger maps. I know many players don't pay much attention to a tank's zoom, but anyone who has played the Japanese premium tank knows why I make a point of mentioning it. The gunner also has a thermal sight, but honestly it has the worst image quality in the game, and it's extremely frustrating. Most of our opponents have either average or excellent image quality, while we're stuck looking through a view that feels more like scratched glass than a modern detection device. You should also know that the commander doesn't have any optics, so if you like using the commander's sight instead of binoculars, that option isn't available on this tank. This tank is equipped with an engine smoke generating system, a tool that can be very useful in close combat. Just a reminder, the smoke produced by this system is transparent to thermal sights, so when an enemy is pushing you, you can deploy this system, switch to your thermal sight, and essentially gain the advantage of firing first on them. Now let's talk about this tank's armor. Unfortunately, it's very weak. The most critical weak spot is right in the middle of the hull. A shot just below the gun will almost always knock the tank out, and even in the rare cases where luck is on your side and 2 crew members survive, the turret rotation mechanism will likely be damaged, leaving you unable to return fire. The second weak spot, which I personally love shooting at, is just to the left of the main gun. At minimum, you'll damage the gun breech, and with the best hit, the round will go through the turret straight into the ammo rack. A hit to the lower hull rarely outright destroys the tank, but it almost always kills the driver and damages the turret traverse mechanism and the engine. After a hit like that, the Abrams becomes essentially helpless. Any hull penetration almost always wrecks the turret traverse, so you either have to run for cover or, if the engine is also damaged, just wait for the inevitable destruction. Finally, the last weak spot, which I honestly love shooting because it feels like rubbing salt in the wound, is the gunner's sight. Almost any high-explosive shell that strikes the gunner's sight will wreck this tank. The only part that actually soaks up almost any damage is the cheeks of the turret, but of course no sane player would aim there. Unfortunately, armor is not this tank's strong point, and almost any hit will send you off for at least half a minute of repairs, meaning that in some matches you could spend a significant portion of the game just fixing your vehicle. Sure, sometimes luck will be on your side and the tank won't be one-shotted through a weak spot, but the problem is that after taking a hit, you're often completely unable to return fire. Before we move on to the final part of this video, I want to take a moment to thank you for watching my content. After I accidentally became a YouTuber, your support has helped this channel grow beyond anything I ever dreamed of. It even started generating income, and I realized I'm literally doing the best and easiest job in the world. I honestly can't imagine anything else that could bring financial gain, give such a huge boost of energy, and provide the same kind of joy that I get from creating these videos. And it's all thanks to you. I truly appreciate it, and I'm so grateful. And of course, I have to give a special shout out to the best of the best, those of you who hit the join button and became channel members. Thank you so much. All right, let's wrap things up. My grandma used to say that a person should find one true love for life. For her, it was sailors. For me, it's Abrams tanks. While a player on the Soviet team struggles against your team, the fantastic maps from Gaijin and even their own tank, dealing with things like limited gun depression and poor reverse speed, in the Abrams we get one of the most comfortable rides in the game. If armor is your top priority, this tank probably isn't for you, but it does have excellent gun depression along with strong forward and reverse speeds, which allows us to play positional battles almost perfectly or execute smooth flanking maneuvers. Unfortunately, all Abrams tanks, after the last nerf, the huge turret rotation module, have stopped being beginner-friendly, and now you need to play them very carefully. In my hands, this tank easily reached my usual stats with just a small margin of error. So, if you've been following my channel for a while, use the strategies I share in my map guides and can put them into practice. This tank is definitely for you. But if you're a beginner and have never played modern vehicles, you'll probably want to skip this one, as it leaves very little room for mistakes in battle. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.